before that, so
accuse me
he
of
definitely content
creating an echo chamber.
narrates, and he does create echo
Alan,
chambers.
followed by Mayoral. Gary, as a follow-up to that, I really want to thank for allowing him to go on, even though I thought what he had to say was absolutely despicable. This should not be about personalities, and it should not be about whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. I want to point out his comments were general, they were emotional, they were exceedingly uneducated, and they were vague. And these are all traits that many conservatives have allowed themselves to fall into. I am very grateful that my good friend Marshall, for what he had to say today. To me, this is about trust as much as it is about anything else. And I don't trust Trump at all. And I don't think it's worth even giving this idea that this could be right or wrong any airspace, because I don't think there's any chance that it's right. Whether it's what the real agreement says or not, it doesn't matter. The Republican Party, as this guy said, if it benefits from this deal because gas prices come down, that shows to me that the Republican Party is not interested in anything except self-interest. I don't want to pay taxes, but I want to have the benefits of a society. I want to have low gas prices. I don't care about the future. We have gone from American exceptionalism, which Republicans used to like to talk about, to American mediocrity or lower. And I think that rather than wringing our hands,
Alan, it's partially part of it's arrogance. It's the arrogance in believing we somehow are great because we just are. Yeah, it's a real lack of appreciation and gratitude for all of the sacrifices and all of the time it took us to get to a place where we are this big and this influential. It's a luxury belief of these people.
I love that point, Marshall. And I'm really glad that Gary has allowed this to go on. We've had some rather heated discussions, and I think that the peaceniks are part of the problem, because sometimes people are so eager to maintain peace and an environment of peace that we don't get to real issues. And I think that's one of the dangers of liberal thinkers in general. And I'm not a Democrat, but I find in many cases my Democrat friends are too eager to make peace. I wonder if discussions like the ones you and I had, Marshall, a couple of years ago, or within the time we've had of this, have led to a deeper respect for one another and appreciation that we can disagree, but we can find the areas where we truly do agree. And I think I love what Ronald Reagan used to say about, if we can agree on 70% of the things, let's make progress on the things we agree on. Let's not spend our time arguing about what we disagree about. At any rate,
I think our conversations definitely did produce that greater trust. One of my kind of key takeaways, both from conversations like we've had and then from my own political experience, is if you tear, you can't build and solve a problem. And it's about solving problems. So if you can't solve the problem, then you're not doing the right thing.
Yep.
Right? And to solve the problem, it means I have to see you as more than your political views, which sometimes I disagree with. Right? It's an explicit ask that I see you as a complex human, not as a flattened human. And I think when we flatten other people in that way, en masse, regardless which side of the aisle you sit on, you wind up with much, much more vociferous discussions about it, because people don't see each other as real. They see each other as some sort of totem for the other party or the other idea. If you have to see somebody as a human and complex, you're far more likely to respect them rather than dislike them.
Amen.
Amen.
And with that,
the green bean has spoken and interrupted yet again. Unsolicited.
Let's look back at the League of Nations.
Yes,
Why
let
did
us
the
look back
US
at the League of
not join
Nations
the
and
League of
that
Nations?
successful
And
venture that we
it's,
poured so much of
pretty well
our
understood
blood,
had the League of
sweat, and
Nations
treasure
actually
into.
the United States joined the League of Nations, we might have prevented World War II. And I think that the reason we didn't join the League of the Nations partially is because Congress said no. Where the hell is Congress or anything else in this agreement? We talk about we talk about the need for agreement, and I do appreciate Gary's reading of this, and the point 14 is incredibly interesting. But how dare Trump assume that he can speak for the Security Council of the UN? And if this MOA goes into effect, now we have a period of
the
purgatory.
filing is in July
Between
or
now
August.
and whenever that goes before the UN or the UN Security Council, that allows the Iranians to do even more. So I think rather than wringing our hands, I wish the Republican Party would get its act together, and I almost use a profanity there, and either talk seriously about the 25th Amendment, talk seriously about impeachment, or talk seriously about passing a resolution or a bill in Congress that says we, the United States, do not endorse this agreement. And Gary, I will leave it there.
If you really want to remove the president from office, it has to be done by the Republicans, not the Democrats. Just ask anybody who was around when Richard Nixon was removed from office. Thank you, Alan. We'll go to Mayoral, followed by Brian.
Still kind of struck by what you wrote, what you read, and what Pluto said. I didn't hear Pluto mention Israel at all. I don't even hear what the supposed agreement is going to be as regards Israel.
As it was written, it does not mention Israel, but it does mention ending all hostilities in the region, including Lebanon. So that's a reference without mentioning Israel to Israel. But Israel's not a party to the Memorandum of Understanding. So if, in fact, what Ella Rodia published and I read is accurate, it's just, what are you going to do? Hold the United States responsible for the actions of Israel, a sovereign nation? Or say that the United States is in default? The United States isn't in Lebanon. So how do you reconcile that? I don't get that, Meryl.
I don't understand it. I also don't understand, Israel's in Lebanon for a reason. I don't understand, gosh, somewhere along the line, someone's got to defend Israel. And I'm not saying it's our job. I'm not just saying that when we make it, if we were to make that kind of agreement, which, by the way, Trump was pretty tough on Israel today, very tough. I don't know if you heard, he said he didn't like he didn't like Netanyahu bombing apartments and killing civilians. I thought that was pretty hypocritical of him, because he never said that to Russia about Ukraine. So I mean but of course Russia doesn't have anything to do with this agreement, so he can go along with that. I am flabbergasted because I'm not quite understood. I wrote down some of what you said, but I couldn't do it fast enough. I was typing it. What I don't understand is, ultimately, what do we get? What do we get versus what we're giving away? What are we? I understand. I believe Axios.
Meryl's like the ultra MAGA critic. She's like more extreme than the extremists every single time.
Trump didn't listen to his generals. He didn't blow up Iran enough. Some Republicans were not
crazy.
That is
these are like there's two types of Democrats. There's like
what
the socialist communist Democrats that are anti-war, and then there's.
Do you want me to tell you what we're gonna get? We're gonna get middle finger from Iranian, Mike.
Well, that's what I think we are being told by the people in the know are saying we can't. Look, we went in because we said we could never trust Iran. That's the whole thing, was we could never trust Iran. So now we give them lots of money, and yes, the Gulf states give them lots of money. They will have access. By the way, it just says they're giving it. It doesn't sound like it's really performance, based on performance, because some of this money is coming to them rather quickly. And that still doesn't address, are we giving money to the Gulf states? Are there side deals, or we have to give money to the Gulf states because of everything that was done to the Gulf states? And so are they turning around and putting a reconstruction fund together so that it doesn't look like the U.S. is giving directly to Iran? I'm very cynical, and